Well, good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. Here it is. It's Sunday. It's Halloween, October 31st in the year of your Lord and mine, 2021. And it's good to be here this morning. It was kind of on a whim. As you all know, we discontinued doing the Intrepid radio program rather abruptly almost a month ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I haven't done a show since then. And so I thought this morning I'm awake, everybody's still in bed, and I'm having my coffee a couple of hours ago, and I thought, why not do a show this morning? I've got a little bit of time, so let's roll and let's make it happen. So here we are sitting at my desk. The digs are getting, as most of you know, we relocated to a new place. And the digs are getting a little more organized. If you've seen and followed my Facebook, you've seen a couple of pictures of that. And so, and it's been busy. I've had a couple of big projects in that I'm working on. And that fills my time. It's good to be busy, I can tell you that. Because being a freelance artist and on the roller coaster of freelancing, there are days that... well, let's put it in months. I kind of look at it by months. It's like, how much do I need to make per month versus how much comes in per month? And so there are some months where you aren't quite sure how you're going to keep the lights on. And there are other months where you're like, okay, we're doing all right this month. So you try to keep that trend up. And so it's been a nice month. And it's been that way for 20 years, by the way. It doesn't change any. So working on some other things that will hopefully bolster that end of things. My daughters, Abby and Bryn, want to really promote my doing what they're calling cottage core. And when they first said it, I thought they said cottage horror. Then I thought they said cottage whore. And I thought, what the hell is that? So it's apparently all this cutesy stuff like woodland creatures and animals and flowers and mushrooms and toadstools and fairies that you do as art. And people all over the internet, it's the big thing. It's all over the internet. And they're starting by having me do a couple of paintings that they're going to put onto leggings and stuff like that. And they're going to build the website and promote it all themselves. They just want me to do the artwork. And they do some of their own cottage core stuff with their mermaid company. And apparently they do pretty well. That is extra income coming in. So we'll see how that works. Anyway, that's all just an update on what I'm doing, the things that are keeping me busy. And good morning to y'all. Audrey, I see you over there. Good to see you. I saw your Scotty in all caps with the exclamation point. And Elderberry, good to see you this morning. I happened to see your message just as I was thinking about, maybe I should just do a show this morning. And I told Raini, and Raini and I talked about it. It's that even she said, you don't have to quit altogether. Just kind of get things going and every now and then do a show. So I thought, why not this morning? Nobody's up this morning. It's going to be a busy afternoon and evening with Halloween. And I thought, why not? It's kind of quiet. Everybody's over down here in the kids' room, which is in the corner. It's kind of funny. We have 4 bedrooms, but everybody except me ends up over in the kids' room at night. We talked about the big tower that's outside the window. I wish you could see it. You can't see it. If I directed the camera, the light from the outside would blaze the camera and you couldn't see it. It's just standing right there. It's about the distance of about a city block away. And it's got all the 5G towers up on top of it. And Rainey actually got a, what's the device called? I should know from ghost hunting, that reads the EMT that comes into the house. And our bedroom, of course, is right up there. And it faces, you open our shades and that's all we get. You get a big pristine picture of the trees that are changing colors and the big old water tower with the G5 towers up on top of it. And I think it's supposed to be the safety limits in a household is something like 0.2 or 0.3. We're talking 0.2, 0.3. And we get readings that jump up into 7 point something and 8 and 9 point something. So Rainey's pretty distressed by that. And we live in a neighborhood that's right under those towers. And we didn't really notice that before we signed on and lived here. So she started gathering all the kids and sleeping down in Rowan's room, which is down way over in the corner of the downstairs here. Flynn's room is behind that wall. And then Ellery's room is upstairs, and Rainey's and my room is upstairs. And but they all end up in there. so it's been weird. I said, I'm not sleeping with all the kids in the bedroom. So Rainey's got a big mattress laid out there and beds laid out. So they sleep down there. And Rainey, the older she's gotten a little more, you could say, some would say aware, some would say paranoid, some would say crazy, some would say informed, but about health issues and bodily issues and functionality, the things that affect our bodies and so on. And she's pretty concerned. She's been doing a lot of reading about the tower. So while we just moved in here, we're probably not going to be here a year from now. Moving again is the last thing on my list, especially now that we've got, if you saw my Facebook post, the studios are all set up. Her studio's way over there on that side. Mine's over here. We've got a big sofa right down here in front of my desk. That's for any peanut gallery that locally that wants to come and join in on the show. I was thinking John and Brianna, but of course John is a co-host, not a peanut gallery. You see him in there. There's Packy. Good to see you. Hey, Leslie. You know, I tried to tag you this morning, Leslie, and I tried to tag a lot of you over on the Facebook post. And for some reason, I don't know if it's our weak internet here, I could not tag anybody this morning. So as you're finding that we're on, it's good to see people stepping in. And those of you out in the wings, if you want to come in and say hello. I saw a client, and I would call her a new friend in Australia, Diana, and she liked the post over on Facebook this morning. She saw it. I don't know if she'll come into the chat room or not, but if you feel like it, Diana, if you're out there listening, come on in and say hi to everybody. And Steph Cuervo Queen, good to see you. And Doug Stack, good to see you, brother. Matt Finn, Master Finn, good to see you. It's been an oceanless voyage, hasn't it, for the last month? So it's very good to see you here. And I see a message from, I thought that was John Learman. It's not. So I thought that was from you, John. Sorry. Teresa, good to see you. Glad that you made it in this morning. I think I said hey to Leslie. Leslie, I tried to tag you directly by just typing your name in over on Facebook. Wouldn't allow it to happen. Our internet has been really weird the last couple of days. And one thing I will say about small town internet, I complained about this when we were doing the show full time before, that we live in a small town, Somerset, Wisconsin. Just the name lilts, it sounds so picturesque. Somerset in England, in the British Isles. And that's a wonderful place to visit. Somerset is where I'm rabbit trailing already. Somerset is where a lot of the Arthurian legends took place. You've got in the Somerset area, you've got the lakes. It used to be the Lake District there. In ancient times, there were ancient lakes. You go over to Glastonbury, where you see Glastonbury, which today has become pretty much a Wiccan ghetto. But it's a neat place to visit. I've been there a couple of times. And you've got Glastonbury Tor is there. And that's the big mound with the tower that's still left on top of it. And the first time I was there, which was back in like 1990, you clear away, you're walking through a field and through a gate, and you see a little gate, and there's no booth, there's no attendance or anything. There's a little brass plaque that says Glastonbury Tor, and you got to kind of push away the bushes to see it. And it mentions, its historical significance. And then it also mentions that it was considered to be the Isle of Avalon back when this was the Lake District. And this was all a lake that you're standing in, a big lake basin that was dotted with hills, which are all islands, which are now the hills in this region. and they called it the entrance to the netherworld. It said on this little brass plaque. And so you can climb up to the top and look around, and it looks around. It looks like you're in a big crater, like a big lake basin with all these hills that pop up into the distance. And these were all the islands. So it was the Lake of the Isles, so to speak. And so Somerset was that region, and it's all connected to the Arthurian legends. And of course, we live in Somerset, but we're in Wisconsin, Somerset. And so it's pretty here. It's got the river. The big draw here is in the summertime, the Apple River. People come and go tubing down the river. And there are outfits that have camping and all of that kind of stuff. And they run buses to bring tubers all the way upriver, and they float downriver and get off at the location there. And it's a booming town in the summertime. And all the little business, the downtown area here runs about the distance of a half a city block. And the tallest building is 2 stories. And that's usually an old building from the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I think there's 2 gas stations. There's a hardware store, but that's almost a mile down the strip out of town. But there's a gas station right at the main intersection. There's a big empty lot for sale downtown there. And across from that is a bar, then another bar, then another bar, another block away. And I mean, that's the pastime. It's there's a tattoo shop. There's a library here for Somerset, but this is where we live. But all of that to say this, in this little town where we're just a few miles from where we lived before, we can't get the same internet we had over there, which was shitty internet anyway. But they've got even shittier internet here. And it covers the whole area here, but it's voted in at some time in the past by city councils and so on. It's a local company. But you drive 12 miles that way, and you'll hit the Minnesota border. 12 miles, a mere 12 miles. If you live in an urban area, you can figure out how short a distance that it takes 10, 12 minutes to get there. There they've got everything. They've got all the big, what's the big ones? You think like AT&T. What's the other big one? Doesn't matter. But you can get everything. You can choose from 20 different internet companies 12 miles from here. Here, there's a monopoly for the local company to have the internet, and their internet absolutely sucks. And there are days, the last 2 days, we can have a TV on that's drawing from the internet, and the other TV won't work. Things like that, So hopefully we won't have too many glitches in the show. There, I have given you a big diatribe on where we've rabbit trailed all over the place. Macabre Menace says, Who is this handsome young man who says shitty? Why, that would be me, Sterling. Yes, I sometimes use off-colored language. Yeah, we are close to Paisley Park, Scott Allen. That's over in the western suburbs of Minneapolis. And Minneapolis now, I grew up in Minneapolis, by the way, right on the northern border of Minneapolis and in the suburbs. But you go to the southwest is where you're going to hit Paisley Park is out there. And we drive by it every now and then. When I did the Renaissance Festival, it's right out in that area, that general area. It's where Paisley Park is. And so downtown Minneapolis is about 45 minutes from here, something like that. So it's nice being out in the country in a town that, boasts, 5, 6, 7,000 people, but they're all in the outer areas and they're conglomerated, and there's always new housing going up here and all of that. We live in a strip of houses that all kind of look the same. They're all twin homes, or we're in a twin home right now. We rent, but it's nice. It's nice and sizable. It works, and there's dotted with people. All these houses look the same as you run down this curved lane, Meadow Lane, to get to our house. And but it's dotted with, I'd say, half people own their houses, the other half rent. And so, but the downtown area is tiny. A lot of people here commute to Minneapolis and St. Paul every day to work. And there's farming community, as you can throw a rock and you hit farmers' fields out here. So it's a nice place to be. But the internet is crappy because the crappy company that owns the crappy internet has it locked down for no competition. So you know what? Their internet goes down. That's why it took a month to get hooked up when we moved here. No competition. If they had to compete with somebody, this is why competition is good. This is why the free market is good. This is why capitalism is good. When you are challenged to do better, you do better or you sink. Right now, this company is the only company here because they have a locked-in monopoly with no competition. So they don't have to get any better than shitty because there's nobody else to go to. Unless you get the satellite companies out. Then you're paying for satellite, dish, and all of that just to get your internet in. Who else coming in? Teresa Dentone, good to see you. Wakey, wakey, she says. Leslie says, we got our internet from local phone company. I don't think they have any competition either. Yeah, when you've got areas that have no competition, the internet's bad. And I suppose out here in this community, I don't know that they have fiber optics out here yet. So other companies coming in, they don't have the infrastructure here. So they would have to build and wire totally new infrastructure. So I get that, and I get the problem with it. So who else we got in here? Robert V., good to see you this morning. Elderberry, of course, I said good morning to you. Mike Yahudi! I can't scream too loud. There's still people, they're either sleeping in there or they're watching TV in there and just haven't crawled out of bed yet. And Cardinals Card Breaks. Good morning, first-time viewer, big fan of Scotty. Why, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Cardinals. Dark Truth is here. My daddy's family's from Wisconsin. Bosco something. I don't know where that is. So we're right on western Wisconsin. It's actually called that. It's a real western Wisconsin because we're across the river from the farthest eastern stretches of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and metro area. And we're western Wisconsin. All these little towns here, a lot of people just, when I lived down south and we had the ranch, and I lived about, how many miles is it from here? It doesn't seem that way because it's all western Wisconsin. But my son Sam lives down in Ellsworth, which takes about 40 minutes to drive down there. And it doesn't seem like it should be that far because we're all in western Wisconsin. But it takes 40 minutes to drive down there or so. You got to go through River Falls, which is a university of town. The University of Wisconsin, River Falls is there. And then you go, that's like the halfway point, and then you get to Ellsworth. And so this whole region, it's kind of the same way with everything. So not sure what I was going to say about that. I get myself sidetracked. So anyway, it's good to see everybody here and piling in. I appreciate that. You're coming in. Kenny Lefevre, I like to call him after Brett Favre. But Kenny Lefevre, good to see you. Who else we got in here that I haven't said hey to this morning? I think he said hey to Doug Stack. No one got a video of me, I don't think, he said. So, by the way, you all, if anybody wants to call in, I know John Learman Packy over there in the chat room and we were talking a little bit this morning about stuff, about Halloween. It's Halloween. Do you remember when we were kids? It was just when I was a kid in the late 60s and the early 70s, and we were still trick-or-treating, even though we were turning 13 and 14. And people would say that, aren't you a little big to trick-or-treat? And we go, no. Here is the link. If anybody would like to call into the show, I'm posting that into the chat room if you didn't see that anywhere else. Field Guy. I saw Teresa said Boobs Fieldy. That's got to be him. He's in here somewhere. Or are you just saying he's not here? Teresa says, Scotty, show and tell your most recent illustrations. I can do that. I can show you some of the things I'm working on. The book cover, by the way, Teresa, and anybody who saw that on my Facebook, it's for a different client in Australia than Diana. And let me do it this way. I was contacted through one of the kids illustration groups on the internet, which is flooded with anytime somebody comes in, hey, I'm an author and I'm looking for an illustrator. They go to the children's book illustrators groups that are on Facebook, and they say, hey, I'm looking for an illustrator. Can anybody do this style? And by the time I see it, an hour later, there's 150 posts in there already from, I'm going to use quotation, artists around the world. Some are very good, and some are really about as good as the internet I get here. And many of them are from other countries. Think third world countries, and they're an artist. They've got internet. They're trying to earn money. And what I would charge $400 for an illustration, because I'm American, and it just costs that here, they can charge $10 American for the same thing. And it's a lot of money to them. And so a lot of authors will use the guys that'll quote $10 an illustration. And so that's tough to compete against. If I did an illustration, let's say we're taking it from pencil all the way to finished colored painting. That process usually takes me about anywhere from 6 to 9 hours to do an illustration from beginning to end. And I'm talking a full-blown illustration. Here, it would be something like, well, before I get into that. And so with these groups, I picked up a couple of jobs through those groups. And they're nice jobs, but there's a lot of artists, that mostly Western world artists, Americans, British, that are saying, look, authors, if you're looking for a good artist, a good illustrator, don't just use the cheapest thing that comes along, because you're going to run into problems. Yes, you're going to pay a little more, but let me ask you, put yourself in the place of an author right now, you guys. And you don't have a publishing house that's covering the cost of your illustrator. And you don't know if your book is going to go. You don't even know if it's going to sell more than $10 over the next year. But you're putting your book out. And you've put your heart and soul into this book, and you're looking for an illustrator. And you don't have a lot of money to work with. Although you could start a Kickstarter, you could dig into your savings, you could find ways to fund it, but you're trying to find the easiest, most inexpensive way to do it. So you're going to hire the guy that says, I'll do your illustrations for $10 a piece, as opposed to the guy that's going to say, I'll do it for $250 or $450 a piece. You figure most kids' books have 10 to 12 illustrations. Let's use 10 to do the simple math. Say you pay me $450 an illustration times 10. What is that? That's $4,500 for an author. Do you have $4,500 sitting around to pay an artist for your book? Maybe not in your pocket. Maybe you could dredge it up. But then you got an artist that comes along and says, I'll do it for $10 a piece, and you're paying $450 or $400 I'm sorry. No, I'm doing my math wrong. Sorry. 10 times 10 illustrations, you're paying $100. And so versus $4,000. I messed something up in my math there, but you get the idea. 40 times more to pay me to do it than somebody from the Philippines or Singapore, or a sweatshop, a Singaporean wet sweatshop, or Fiverr. Fiverr's notorious for hooking up, high school kids that want to get a break, and because they want to have a book in their portfolio, they'll offer to do it for $10 a piece, $15 a piece, $20 a piece, whatever. And so, thanks, Sterling. If you ever get around to writing your books, you're coming straight to me, says Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that. But you get what you pay for. And of course, it's like saying, I need a new computer. Am I going to get the computer that costs me $138, the Acer or something at Target? Or am I going to go to Apple and buy the same thing for $4,000? It's that kind of thing. So some of it is market, and it's what the market will withstand. It's what people are willing to pay. And so many times when I promote myself on these groups and an author comes in and asks for illustrators, I'll say, hey, I've been doing this for 30 years plus. It's actually 44 years I've been doing this since my high school days. And I've got a long portfolio. I've got a long list of clients, some happy, some unhappy. I've got a few unhappy clients. People would say, oh, he didn't get it done fast enough or, whatever. They didn't look like what I wanted them to look like. That happens every now and then. You're not going to please everybody all the time. And I generally work a pretty good package for people. If I say I charge $450 an illustration, I'll say, but if you're doing 12 of them for a book, plus you want me to design your cover and I'll design the whole interior layout of your book, I generally cut a pretty good deal that works out to be maybe $300 per illustration, something like that, as opposed to $450. And then I throw the design work and the cover design and all of that gets thrown into the whole package. And so for 12 illustrations, what's 3 times 12? 36. They're paying $3,600. I've got an Australian client, not Diana. This book cover I posted the other day that I've done 12 illustrations for her and designing the cover and the interior layout for $3,900. Now, that's releasing secrets. You're not supposed to talk about what you get paid. Well, I'm talking about what I charge. There's a slight difference there. So when you can do that and you can create that in a month, that's pretty good income. If you get 2 of those in 1 month, you're scrambling for time sometimes just to make everything fit. And then you're working on other projects. I got logo designs that come in for clients, and I've got personal projects, and we're like How to Be an Archaeologist. You've all seen that project. I haven't done a single illustration on that since the one where I showed the boy putting the pipe up on his shelf. Why? Because I'm buried. I've got work going on. And not to mention that, I got a family. And then I was doing a radio show every day. And so time becomes a premium when you're doing that. And there's a point where you say, I got to cut something. If my wife is feeling left out, I got to make sure I'm cutting something. If my kids are feeling left out, if I, and stuff like that. So you get it. You get how that stuff works. Well, I've got these 2 projects. I've got the one I'm working on now, the Gingerbread Kids, from a woman I met on one of these groups on Facebook. And she said she saw other groups that were probably less money or other artists. Hey, Rowan.
Hi.
Come and say hi.
Hi.
To everybody. What you doing?
Drawing this.
How'd you sleep?
Fine.
Good. Look, this shirt is so appropriate. Show everybody what that shirt says.
I'm too short.
It's funny how you think I'm listening to you. Good to see you. Everybody else awake in there?
No.
No? All right.
I went to a party last night. I'm awake.
I know. She was at a party last night.
And
I was just so late.
It makes me really, really awake.
Yeah. Well, it was a neighbor kid and a Halloween party, and you got home at 9:30.
There were parents, and there was wine.
Parents, and there was wine.
Yeah.
Wine for the kids?
Yeah.
Get out of here. No, there wasn't. No, not really.
We got black fruit punch though.
Black fruit punch.
Yeah.
Nice. What kind of fruit is black fruit?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, good. Well, that's all. You put on your face makeup already?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm awake.
You're awake. She's awake. All right. Just wanted you to say hi. Bye. So, yeah, you're just going to be over there. That's my 9-year-old going on 10 in a couple of weeks here. So, going on 16. Mm-hmm. I know, right? She says. So, anyway, on this illustration thing, so I'm working on that book, The Gingerbread Kids, it's called. And she does theatrical productions with all of her stories and so on. And she said she saw some other artists that were less money, but she liked my style better. So that's how I landed that job. And I've got another one. Diana might be listening. She might be over there somewhere. I don't know if she slipped in and said hi or not, but she is also from Australia. And this is, some of you got invites from me, as many of you as I could find on Facebook, for the Egyptology Society. Now, if you saw that invite come in, I don't know if it came from me personally or if it came from the society itself. Some of you have joined over there. That is Diana, my author. That is her site. She has done other books on Egyptology. She lives in Australia, but she's Egyptian, part Egyptian, however you want to say that. Mrs. Roberts is not here this morning, at least not behind the mic. She's still hanging out in bed this morning. So she's still sleeping. If she was just hanging out in bed, I'd join her. So Teresa joined, and I think Leslie joined, and a couple of others of you. But that is a site she wanted to put up to help promote her books, but at the same time to do a much broader site on Egyptology. And the book that I'm going to be working on for her, and she's going to be putting up a Kickstarter for this. They bless you. She's done a couple of other books. Her first kids book was not first. Her last one was something about being a pharaoh, and it was written for kids. What it was like to be a pharaoh, and it's got a cute little kids character in it and stuff like that. And this next one that I'm going to be doing with her is where she's taking the alphabet, the English alphabet, but she's showing the equivalent in hieroglyphics. So hieroglyphics to English alphabet. So A is for Anubis type of thing. And so I'm going to be doing all the illustration work on that. And they're going to be putting up a Kickstarter for that. They have some connections. They're going to be wanting to market this thing through museums where they already have connections, and the whole Egyptological market and the general market, of course. And so that's coming up as well. Hey, Romeldian, you're leaving, but hey, good to see you. I just saw your name pop by. So glad you could make it in for a little bit. So there you go. So those are the two big Australian projects I'm working on right now. Just starting an illustration for the Kickstarter. I'm going to design a mocked up cover for the hieroglyphics book, and got to get that out in the next couple of days. Some drawings and paintings for my kids for the cottage core stuff. If I have time, how to be an archaeologist. I want to get that wrapped up. And then I'm working on, of course, the live project right now is the Gingerbread Kids. And I've also kind of hooked up with it was through Jeremy Hansen, a group that he works with called shoptotheright.com. And they're a conservative organization. They have a shop out there, but they also release memes and stuff. And they want me to do a bunch of meme work and website work for them. And that consists of like this, little cartoons like this. So I cracked that up for them the other day. And it's really, I can use the ideas they give me, or I can create my own ideas. But they've got to be a little more comic than this. This is critical race theory in our schools. The kid says, I like being black. The other kid says, cool, I like being white. The other kid walks away and says, racist. So, stuff like that. It's political cartooning. And so I'm doing some of that. And in and through that, I've got this book that I'm working on. And then I will also have the hieroglyphics book. By the time this one is done, in less than 10 days, I'll have the gingerbread book all done. We're going to be launching into doing the Egyptology book, hopefully before the end of November. But Teresa at Dantone asked if I'd show some of these off, and I can do that. Let's see. Do I have any in the scanner? I do not. Okay. Here's how this book goes. It's and of course it's all written by the author, and all I've got here are pencils. These pencils just got approved by the author 2 days ago, and so now I'm taking them to color, and I had to do one of them in color that she chose for the book cover. So let me show you some of these. These are the pencils. So it's about an old couple, and this old couple, you can see here, they're sitting at the table in their house in a little country kitchen, which I'll add that all in the color washing in the background. And they're happy. They've had a happy life, but they've had no kids, is the idea with that. And so what do? The old man one night says, you know what? I'm going to bake some gingerbread cookies. And this is the one I colorized, and then I did work on it in Photoshop as well. This one's painted. But here's the old man making gingerbread cookies. And I added the background in Photoshop for the kitchen and so on, because it was easier to work with the washes in that. This is commercial art, folks. It's not all fine art. So I incorporate digital illustration in with the hand painted. So there's the old man. He's creating the cookies. And of course, they get up in the morning, and I added an illustration in here. They wake up in the morning, and lo and behold, all these gingerbread kids came to life. And so here's the kids. They're running around the kitchen, sliding down the broomstick, messing with the cat, and so on. And they're running all around the house. And so after that, the old couple meets them with glee and happiness. You can see the old woman is kind of clapping her hands. She's all happy, and the old man's happy, and the kids are dancing around him, and they say, we want to go outside and play. So they go outside to play. The problems start there, because the kids are all playing and they're doing their thing, but as they pass things, animals on the farm, guess what? The farm animals want to eat them. But the only one they seem to catch is the one cookie that's slower than the others. And here is, let's see if the lighting, this is done in really light pencil, but here they're running. You see the kids way over the hill there. They're all running around. And the one gingerbread kid gets half of his side of his head, or his ear, it calls it in the text, gets pecked off by the chicken, who says, wow, you look yummy. Peck, peck, peck. And part of his head's gone. And not enough to stop him, though. And as they go along, they come across all these other animals. What's the next one? Here in order. It's the horse. No, it's the pig. Here he is. Then they run by, and of course he's missing. You can see the cookie is already missing part of his ear. Well, they go by, and guess what? They run into the pig. And the pig goes, wow, you look yummy. And look at what's in the pig's mouth. It's his leg. Takes off half of his leg. So the gingerbread cookie, with now missing part of his head and his leg, is hobbling along, trying to keep up with the rest. Lo and behold, they go by the horse corral. What does the horse say? Wow, you look yummy. And the horse leans down, and now he's missing part of his head, part of his leg, and he bites off his hand while the other kids are running and playing. And so the horse there, you can see him off on the side. He bites off the kid's hand. And where do they go from there? They go, and then there's a goat by a boat, an old rusty boat sitting by the river. And there's a goat there, and then the goat leans over and catches his eye and eats his eye. So now he's lost part of his ear, he's lost his eye, he's lost one of his arms and one of his legs. And there's the goat chewing up his stuff. And this is all supposed to be really colorful and bright, too. Kind of a Candyland looking effect to the backgrounds she asked for. And then he goes, and now he can't keep up with anybody. And he goes, and I've got him. I did this. This was a mistake, this one. I've got the old lady talking to him by the tree where he sat down and cried. That was wrong. I misread the text. The old lady's not supposed to be there. So poor Crumb is his name, Crumb. He sits by the tree and he's crying. because he can't keep up, and he thinks, well, that's it. I'm just going to get eaten totally. But what really happened in the book, because I misread it, was he hobbles all the way home, and he gets the old man and the old woman. They hop in their boat and head to where the other cookies are. And he's pointing the way because I was out of sequence here. They're at the river and they bump into a fox. But the fox says, I don't like gingerbread, but I'll have tea with you. I'll make you some tea. But they're all still scared, so Crumb goes and gets the old couple, and they hop in their rowboat, and they go to save the other cookies, and they bring them all back home. And by this time, there's a lot more detail in the text, but if you illustrated every little scene, there'd be 25 illustrations. And we only contracted to do 12 illustrations. She may have me do more. But this is, by the way, this is when he runs home, and the old woman's standing on the porch, and he runs back to grab her and say, help us, there's a fox that wants to eat us. And she sees he's all chewed up. Then they got in the boat and went back. Well, then they bring them all home. You know, it's a kid's book. It's a little happy ending, and they're all back at home snuggling together in front of the fireplace. And that's the last illustration in the book. And the old man, by the way, see Crumb there sitting on the old woman's lap right in the middle. The old man fixed him with different colored doughs and put him all back together. So he's all happy there. He's all Frankensteined together, but in a fun kid way. So that's that book. That's what I'm working on. And that's this book. These are all the pencils. And now that I've gotten the go-ahead, I'm launching into the color. And that's all I'll be doing all this week is working on the color of that book. And she might want to add some illustrations. We'll see. But so there you go. Steph says, Lord, it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Saw on the Farm with gingerbread cookie kids. Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like that. And so, but she's also going to do a stage play. She does stage play for kids theater. And so with costumes and all of that. And it's written very cute. It all rhymes and all of that. So there you go. So I'm doing watercolor, Scott. It's like the very first egads. What did you do to your face? There you go. She's getting ready for trick-or-treating, which is about 9 hours from now. So
who cares?
You're just practicing.
Well, Rowan's coming over, and Rowan, Bentley, Claire, Scarlett, Taylor, Isla,
Rowan, Bentley, Claire, Scarlett, and Taylor.
Kaden.
Nice. We got John and Brianna coming over tonight too with the kids.
Nice.
So Scott Allen, that's one of the colored pieces. And I just did it that simply. It's just watercolor. You can see if I hold it up close, it's just watercolor. And then I import this into Photoshop, and I added the backgrounds and I enhanced colors and stuff like that. It's digital work. It's not like fine master's work that's going to hang in the museum. So I treat it a little differently. There's a commercial element to it. And if you go over onto my, no, there's no gouache. I use my watercolors like a gouache, Scott Allen. So you can see, that's how I do my highlights in white. That's an ad on the top. So again, it's not layered fine oil painting. It's commercial illustration is what I'm doing here. So, but it's fun. I want to make sure it looks good because my name's on it. So, if you go over to my Facebook page, you'll see the cover I posted yesterday. She wanted to take one of the illustrations, you double it up as the cover so she could start promoting the cover. So I did a mocked up cover, which is actually the final cover. I did it in Photoshop. So there you go. Brianna says, who is this said boy? Which boy? What are we talking about here? Not on this book, Teresa. Kids gave input. They just come and look at it, and I say, what do you think? And they tell me if they like it or not. There's Rowan's impersonation of Crumb, the gingerbread cookie who's getting all eaten up.
That's mean.
So, anyway, there you go. So that's the big project I'm working on. Thank you, Teresa, for asking. Hey, Steve Clark. So I see You need to use a little black. You need to do a little shadowing and bruising and stuff. I can help you with that later for tonight.
I got it.
You got it. Okay. So,
Baby anymore, Dad.
yeah, you're not a baby anymore. Yeah, she knows how to do all her own stuff. Hey, since you're not a baby, will you go take that?
Sorry, I'm still a baby.
Because it got cold. Just put it in the microwave for 30 seconds for
I'm
me.
too busy right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that, busy person. So, it's cold. My coffee got cold. There's some coffee in the French press as well. You could add a little bit of coffee and then put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, please. So, I got to sneeze. Shoo. Yeah, I got my own kids for a test market. So, they'll come and look. Rainey doesn't give much input. She'll tell if she likes it or not. She's bored with my stuff or seen it too much or something. So, oh yeah, more artwork. So, Rainey's more about the management side. Make sure you're making an income and stuff like that. And so, thank you, Leslie. And sometimes I think she likes some of my stuff. So, but we're trying to find good ways to utilize what I do to make a better revenue stream than I have now. My daughters are working with that right now with the cottagecore stuff. So anyway, that's it. That's all that. So Elderberry, that one's not Bubbles. That's Ellery, and she's not out here yet. Thanks, Steve. I've been missing everybody here too. And John, by the way, we were talking earlier this morning. I miss them. They're our old neighbors, as you know. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. There will be an extra piece of coal in your stocking for Christmas.
You only gave me coal because I didn't believe in Santa Claus.
That's right.
And that's stupid because I know Santa Claus is just you and Mom.
I know Santa Claus is just a myth.
It's just you and Mom.
It's just you and Mom.
Just like the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy.
Oh, but the Tooth Fairy's real.
No, I found my tooth in Mom's dresser.
Well, see, the Tooth Fairy leaves it with the parents.
She does not.
So we have it for memories.
Don't even try that.
Yeah, that's about the time. I think Abby and Bryn figured it out when they were like 6, that there was no Santa Claus, that it was Mom and Dad. So...
I left my computer running on video. I figured out it was you and Mom.
Oh, that's it. Got it. So, see you, Audrey. Audrey had to take off. Got to run. Yeah, it's what time? It's 7. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning in California.
You don't know that.
So, yeah, I do.
You're too old.
It's 2 hours behind us. See, my kids are, this one especially is on the kick that I'm so old and I have wrinkles and stuff like that.
You're wrinkly and old.
Yeah. I'm not elderly yet.
Yes, you are.
So, when I'm elderly, I'll be walking around the house naked. And I'll be pooping in my underwear.
Ew.
I go, ooh, look at that.
Well, we've already
Woo-hoo!
tried getting
Hopefully I'll never lose my mind.
We've already tried getting you diapers. And it didn't work.
You tried getting me diapers?
Yeah.
Oh. Don't need them yet. Who wants to walk around after peeing in your own pants?
You.
Just because it's got a pad to soak up the urine. Not I, says me. So, Brianna's going to bring some Depends over for you today. Only if you put them on.
Ew, Dad, stop.
Ew, Dad, stop. So there you go. Your kids would be terrified if they rummaged through your dresser. I'll bet they would, Steph. Just like things my kids find on the counters over here. So
you gotta close.
John?
Mute this one.
Your kids would be terrified if they rummaged through your dresser. I'll bet. Oh, I'm getting feedback. Can you hear me, John?
Can.
Oh, there you are.
How's it going?
It's going well. I might have to put on a headset if I get feedback. Hey, Brianna.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay.
Hi, Rowan.
Hi.
So what are you guys up to this morning?
Oh, well, going to be coming out your neck of the woods later.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, bring the kiddos out and
A little trick-or-treating, and we got a whole horde of neighborhood kids that are coming along with us. So
I invited all of them. Let me count.
yeah, you get it,
6.
Bree.
you need your toes.
Yeah,
No.
to count.
Well,
Get out of the freezer.
Fred's Waylon, and then Ellery has nobody.
Come here.
And then there's so
Ellery has nobody. That sounds so sad.
So what's this about this boy named Rowan? I hear Rowan.
Yeah, there's a boy named Rowan. There's a boy in the neighborhood named Rowan, just like my
Rowan's
daughter.
Also coming.
He's also coming. I've seen him over a couple
Rowan
times.
sitting in a tree.
Shut up.
Kissing.
Ooh.
Better not be.
No, better not be.
Boys are icky.
Yeah. Yeah, we're icky. So, John and I were talking about Halloween and how it's gone from, we were talking this morning.
It's gone from
It's gone
shaking your butt to twerking.
See, I rest my case. No, it's gone from a fun thing in America, which, Halloween is ancient. Samhain. All Hallows
Back
Eve.
2,000 years ago.
Yeah, and Roman times. And it had very different connotations back then. Costumes, as many people know, were you wore masks to ward off demons. And the next day, of course, November 1st was All Hallows Eve. And that would have happened in the Dark Ages to the Middle Ages in that time we're talking about. And the old pagan religions incorporated into Christianity, which we've talked about on the show when we were doing the show. How Christianity, if they weren't murdering you because you didn't believe what they believed, in the name of the love of Jesus, we're going to kill you because you aren't teaching the Jesus that we promote. They were absorbing your culture and the Roman Orthodox Church, literalist Orthodox Church. And Matt Finn says, always keeping us menfolk in line, Bree. That's what Matt Finn says, Bree. So Steve Clark says, Bree, I was kissing girls in the first grade, like Georgie Porgy kissed the girls and made them cry. Wasn't Georgie Porgy, wasn't the story behind that little nursery rhyme something to do with a mass murderer, a serial killer of children? It's kind of scary when you think about it, the dark side of those things. So, anyway, Halloween became commercial, in the last century, the 20th century, became commercial in America and turned into all about candy and costumes. There's a company in Minneapolis that was built around, I don't know if they're still there. They probably are. The Paper Magic Company, they're called. And they're all geared around making those Halloween costumes, with the... Well, hi, daughter.
She said Scotty.
Oh, John, there's something Bree and I have to tell you.
Yeah.
So
Everybody else.
I think she always calls me daddy when she sees me. She must be saying Scotty in her own 2-year-old way. So,
Oh, bye.
how you doing, Harley? So,
You good?
hi, baby. What you doing?
It's my dad.
That's your daddy. Phew, got that cleared up.
So where is that? So where's this at?
Yeah, that's my hat.
So where's
Yes. And Leslie's right. The Festival of Samhain.
Oh, Chippy.
Yeah. All right.
There you are.
You catch all
Not quite
that?
Right out of the mouths of babes.
Yeah, something like that. So, how when it got commercialized, of course, in America, it was with I was mentioning the Paper Magic Company. They grew out of just making Halloween costumes. You know, the simple. They used to be able to catch fire, and now they make them fire resistant. Of course, the little silky like costumes that you put on with the plastic mask and the elastic string. Did a lot of those, and they've got into other stuff, and so it's become a big commercial industry. Halloween, especially for the candy companies who live for October. Wonder how much some of these candy companies make during October compared to, during April, let's say. Well, that's another big candy month with Easter, I guess. But along with that, of course, the advent of Halloween came even when I was in school, when I was a kid in the late 60s into the 70s. They were talking about look out for razor blades. People would put razor blades in apples.
Yeah.
But of course, when we went trick-or-treating, if you got an apple, you walk away, you go, thank you. And then you walk away and go, cheapskate, gave us an apple, no candy.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Yeah, what's the scarier part there? The getting the razor blade in the apple or getting the apple
Or
in the
just
first
getting
place?
the apple. Dipped in poison. And anyway, so John was talking this morning about some of the things they're doing now so you can detect metals in your kids' candy.
Yeah, I saw that they're selling a candy bucket that has a metal detector slot in the top of it. So you just slide your candy in there, and if it beeps, there's, something foreign metal in there.
Something metallic in your candy.
And I just started shaking my head. Like, first, why do we need this? This is so sad that we need something like this in kids' candy. But two, the fact that it took till 2021 to come up with a simple idea like this is just.
I suppose it's developing the technology to make a mini metal detector to detect metal in candies. Small enough and lightweight enough to put into a candy bucket. Do you imagine going out trick-or-treating to get candy in your neighborhood, but you got to take a bucket with a metal detector in it to make sure nobody is lacing it with razor blades, or you could put broken glass in it. The metal detector isn't going to detect it.
Well, and drugs, it's not going to detect drugs either.
Yeah. So I have injected these candy bars with LSD. So, that's an old drug now, isn't it? It'd have to be laced with something new. So that dates me right there. Watch out for the LSD. Don't go on an acid trip with your candy this year. And but then of course there's also the daddy tax. Whenever kids go out trick-or-treating, daddy has to go through the candy to make sure it's all safe and pull out the ever-present daddy tax. Yes.
Yeah.
Daddy's going to take these full big candy bars away from you. And the daddy tax. All I'm doing is teaching my kids that there's two things sure in this life, and that's death and taxes. And so I'm teaching them, setting them up for life.
Mm-hmm.
That no matter what you make and you think you earn, a portion of it goes to daddy.
For every 10 she hands me, I take 4.
It's meth now, says Steve. Yeah. Oh, you got a candy bar? You got 4 more in there for daddy? That's the tax, And what's the current rate? They say Americans are taxed, and people go, no, that's not true. Well, you look at your income tax, it's taken out of your check. Then look at all the things you pay tax for on goods and services. You add it all up, the average American pays about 65%. So every $100 you make, you're paying about 65 out in taxes at the end of the year when you add it all up. Between gas tax, gasoline, internet tax, tax on clothes, tax on food, wherever, depending on the state you live in, stuff like that.
You get taxed to get your money, and you get taxed to spend your money.
I'll get your hand unstuck from.
You get double taxed because you get taxes taken out of your check, and then guess what? You get taxed for goods and services with the rest of what you got left over.
Yeah.
So and then if you will that to your descendants at your death, You will your money to
I'm
them?
gonna watch that.
Yeah.
Half
get
of that
taxed
gets
too.
taken by the government. That's already been taxed. So individual tax. So there you go. Same thing for candy. The candy tax, the daddy tax.
That's the wrong one.
You're not getting any of my candy.
Okay, that's what you think. You have to sleep sometime.
Ouch.
And I have hiding spots in my room.
Leslie said that she wants to be that woman that all the kids like, the legend in her neighborhood. I like to do that too. I figure if I'm giving out candy, I'm going to give candy. I'm not going to give, you go up to the houses and you get the little Kit Kats that are about that big. And here you go. Here's your Kit Kat. And you're like, could you do like a handful of those to equal a candy bar, please? And so I always like to give full candy bars away. Rainey she found some Skittles, bags of Skittles at Walmart.
And she bought all of them.
They were on a deep discount because they were for like Gay Pride or something. Pride Skittles.
Oh,
And they were on deep discount for like 15 cents or 20 cents a pack. And she bought like 30 to 40 packs of those to give out at Halloween.
She bought the whole aisle.
I know she bought everything that was there, which
Yes.
equaled about 30 or 40 packs of Skittles. And she'll just give a whole pack of Skittles. I know some people would cut those open and go, here, you get 5 Skittles. You get 5 Skittles. So,
and are those the colorless ones?
the which ones?
The colorless ones?
Yeah, they're colorless. They're in a silver wrapper.
I
$55 on that.
I saw that. If that's actually supposed to be for Gay Pride, why would you take the color away? Because isn't Gay Pride?
They said they
the
were
rainbow?
Pride Skittles. I don't know why they would make them blank then.
Yeah,
Pride's
that
supposed to be rainbow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't $55. $55 was our whole tab that night. About $30 went into candy. So, didn't they make Pride Skittles all white? Yes, they did, Doug Stack. All white. So, what's on whose lap? LOL, Doug on his lap.
The laptop.
Oh. So Leslie says they only get a few trick-or-treaters. We'll have a lot of trick-or-treaters here, so but we'll be out walking our kids around. So by the time we're home, who's going to be giving out candy?
Oh my God, we didn't set up our decorations yet.
We got a couple up. I'd like to drag the little fire pit, the metal fire pit around front, and have a little fire going and give out the candy, sit outside. Bring the big red rocker out there and sit outside and give away candy. And but I'll probably be
that
walking.
doesn't sound creepy when you say it, Scotty.
Yeah, not at all. I'm gonna sit in my rocker and hey, show little paper boy, you like popsicles? I got some popsicles in the freezer downstairs. So
alrighty, I'm gonna get off here.
All right, guys.
I'll see you later.
We'll see you in a few hours. 5:30. We're gonna set out on foot.
We'll be over before then.
Come on over a little early and hang out.
Yeah, we'll see
All
you.
right. See ya. Bye, Bree.
Bye.
All right, guys. So there. Nowadays, you got to get metal detectors for your kids' trick-or-treating bags. So I would think, though, like in our neighborhood, if there's a crazy person in our neighborhood that's killing kids with candy, it's going to be found out pretty quick. So I think we're in a pretty safe setting, in our neighborhoods here. You go to weird places, weird neighborhoods, weird houses. I suppose people still do that. So, we'll be safe tonight. Don't eat too much candy. Make ourselves sick. Or make your blood sugar skyrocket. So, anyway, that's almost all I have to talk about this morning. I just wanted to touch base with everybody. And let me say this. You got I can't say anything other than this. There are some interesting things in the works for radio. Things that even my wife approves of. So we'll have to see where that all goes. We'll find out in hopefully the next 3 weeks. We'll see what's going on and find out. There might be more to come with radio. And so stay tuned on that. We'll see what happens. So it's good to see you too, Susie Q. I don't know if I even said hi to you this morning. I don't remember feeling the word Susie Q spill off of my tongue this morning. So good to see you, Susie Q. And everybody who made it in, thanks for coming in. I didn't even announce this till the last minute. And we never did get a Rainy sighting this morning. It's 10:07 a.m. here. And she's not out of bed yet. She hasn't staggered over this way. So thank you, Leslie. It was a nice treat for me. I had the time, and I thought, let's just go out and do that. And I thought maybe if Rainy got up in the meantime, she could have stopped by and said hi to everybody. I haven't seen her this morning. I don't think she's been in the chat room either. She may not have even seen the text. So Brianna says, Steve, when we lived in the country, I threw a fit till my parents brought me into town. There it is. Throw a fit. That'll get you what you want. So we're teaching our kids. Thank you, Steve. It's kind of set up. You know, we got some things. I wish I could show you everything that's in here. Like we got the big bookshelf over there. I got bookshelves. We got bookshelves over there. And although, you could almost see outside here, but it's too bright. So you can't see the water tower with all the G5 towers up on top.
Can you run me out?
So, and when I'm done here, we'll talk about that. So, let's see. You're welcome, Elderberry. Thanks for checking in on me early this morning. Elderberry said he was messaged me, said he was missing the Sunday morning show. And I said, well, I just so happen to be doing one this morning. And so where we didn't talk of anything substantive or deep or theological or historical or philosophical, it was just nice to touch base with everybody and let you know there's more to come. What have I got? Who's flipping me off?
Brianna.
Oh, another moderator just handled this. It said, there you go. Well, same to you, Brianna. So, what did Doug say to zip it? Maybe she's flipping Doug off. Oh, because Brianna's a millennial. There it is. That's it. Now it makes sense. Now it all comes together for me. So it's 47 outside today in swampland, and I'm cold. But it's a humid 47. I'm sure. Oh, that was to Doug. I caught on to that, Bree. So she's a millennial. And I don't know what the temp is here today, but it was chilly outside this morning. I stepped outside. So anyway, thank you, Scott Allen. I appreciate that. And we'll have more shows coming up in the near future. Just not every day like it used to be. And like I say, mum's the word. Can't say anything about details, but there's more coming, which could be very exciting. And okay, say bye, bro, because you can leave.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Not that I don't love my children. So 39 degrees here, says Bree. Yeah, we're just a few miles from them, so yeah, it's 39 degrees here this morning. It was cold this morning. Wasn't frosty though.
Can I go to
So
Raina's house?
it's got to be it's Sunday morning.
So?
And you can ask me when I'm all done with this. How about that? Then I can have a conversation with you about it.
Should have been done
All right, guys.
months ago.
I appreciate your being here. Thanks for sharing your time with me. And we're going to call it a day. You go have a fun Sunday and a fun Halloween tonight. Be safe. Yeah, it's sad that you have to say be safe, but be safe. And you know what? All of you have Have a good rest of your weekend and a good All Saints Day tomorrow. I don't know anybody that really celebrates that, but there it is. That's what tomorrow is. All right, guys. So I love you all. Thanks for being here. We'll see you again soon.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Raini Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.